This 1912 Silver República de Nicaragua un Cordoba is wonderful. It's absolutely brilliant. And in today's episode of In Focus Friday, we're going to talk about this, the history of Nicaragua coins and the modern twist that's on this particular coin that could spell its doom. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for this week's edition of In Focus Friday, the show where we take a good close look at cool things made of silver and gold. And this week we have a really cool coin courtesy of a Silver Forum member by the name of Auger, who has sent me this Un Cordoba from the República de Nicaragua to showcase for you all here today. Unfortunately, it's not to keep because this is a very valuable coin. In a perfect condition, these coins can fetch hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which for a coin that weighs just under 25 grams of 90% silver is, of course, a huge, huge premium. That's one of the reasons why we won't be taking it out of this coin flip here today. But it's a fascinating piece with a really nice bit of history to it, and I've really enjoyed researching and finding out a little bit about the coins of Nicaragua and this particular edition, which is the only silver coin in all of Nicaraguan currency from relatively modern age anyway. It's fantastic. I love it. It's got some really nice history to it, and I love that about coins. That is exactly why I always will collect coins over just bars of silver. I think that the history of them are fantastic. But this also has a little bit of a modern potential twist to it. You can see that it is a wonderfully toned coin. It looks absolutely fantastic. But is this toning all that meets the eye? There's a few little things on here that you might have spotted down in this corner, which we're going to talk about, that makes myself and, in fact, Auger believe that this is an artificially toned coin, which has got some serious connotations for it as a kind of collectible, its value. It's really interesting topic. Anyway, we'll talk about that in the second part of this video. First up, let's talk about the fine gentleman on the front here with this wonderful ruff around his neck and rather tasty looking beard. He is Francisco Hernandez de Cordoba, and I apologize for any bad Spanish pronunciations, but he is known as the founder of Nicaragua. He was around the 1475 to 1526 kind of time span. I believe that's his unconfirmed dates of birth and death. He's commonly reputed as the founder of Nicaragua. In fact, I'm reading that he founded basically two important Nicaraguan cities, Granada and Leon. So that's, you know, not necessarily founding a country back in those times. Of course, it's the Central American part, which is called the Isthmus, the bit that connects the North American continent and the South American continent. So at this time, of course, it was very much about colonies, about just essentially trading cities in this region. So it wasn't necessarily that he founded Nicaragua, but it's very commonly known that he founded, he's the foundation on which Nicaragua was born. So really interesting stuff. Of course, it's the time of conquest, time of exploration in this world. Central America, very synonymous with precious metals, with gold, Spanish gold, coming from the Central Americas, very important part of the world. Now, I don't really want to sort of dive into too much more history around sort of the 1500s up to the modern age, but Nicaragua itself was part of the Spanish Empire. It gained independence, I believe, in around 1860. And then in 1912, it issued its first kind of round of official currencies, as many countries will have done in their early times back then. They will have used other currencies as the norm, you know, as many countries around the world still do. The US dollar is almost this kind of world common denominator currency. But then in 1912, the Nicaraguan state issued its first coins, and the Cordoba was the name they chose for them after Francisco Hernandez de Cordoba. So he got his face on the coins, and that is where we get this fine fellow with the ruff and beard. Now, really interesting about the coin issues for Nicaragua in 1912 is that the only coin in all of them, it was the first decimalization of the coins here as well, but the only one that was made of silver was the big one here, the Un Cordoba. Now, lots of other countries around the world had smaller denomination silver coinage. The UK had silver sixpences. We had obviously silver dimes, even in America, tiny little things. So to have only one silver coin in the repertoire of a country's currency is, I think, quite interesting. It does show, I think, this kind of Perhaps it was a poorer nation state. It didn't have as much silver. Perhaps that's one reason why. Another interesting reason is the creation of these coins was actually not in Nicaragua itself. There was no national Nicaraguan mint. And we can tell this from the little tiny H that is down here underneath 1912. And that is the signature, the hallmark almost, of Heaton's Mint in Birmingham, United Kingdom. So these silver coins, and I believe the other coins within Nicaraguan's currencies, were manufactured in the United Kingdom by the Heaton's Mint, which is a private mint. It's now changed its name in the United Kingdom, but I believe they're still a private mint that still goes. Now that's fascinating, I think. It's really telling that a tiny country on the other side of the world in 1912 had its silver coins made for it by a mint in Birmingham. I think that's wonderful. I mean, it's part of the history, I suppose, of the United Kingdom and the world. We are very good coin makers. The Royal Mint makes coins for countries all around the world, even to this day. And we're not just talking about special proof coins, we're talking about in circulation actual currency coins. I believe when we went there on a tour, and I think in 2017, something like that, and they have probably about 50 or 60 different countries around the world that they make their in-circulation coins for. So it's not unheard of by any stretch, and I think it's really quite interesting that it is, that's part of the history there. Now, this particular coin on the other side has got 5 giant peaks, volcanoes, showing there. It's with the sun rising in the background. The face of the sun there looks really cool. So all things told, design-wise, love it. It's a piece of history, really interesting stuff to find out about Nicaragua, about Francisco Hernandez de Cordoba as well. So there's loads of really interesting things in this coin's favour. Now, this silver coin from 1912 was the only issuing of this particular silver coin. It was not made in subsequent years. There were other coins, the half Cordoba, that's the word, sorry. I was sort of half centimes for the French there. But anyway, the half Cordoba was made up till 1937, and but not in silver. So this was the only year that this was made. And I don't have any kind of mintage figure of exactly how many were made, but any in good condition will be hard to come by, which is why these coins will go for hundreds of dollars for what is ostensibly only about, well, 3/4 of an ounce of silver, not even that, just under 3/4 of an ounce of silver, maybe 2/3 of an ounce of silver. It's a collectible. It's a real collectible. And in a perfect mint state, we're talking, it could be even up to $1,000 for a really, really good version of these coins. Now, this one has got some awesome rainbow toning to it. Now, for those that don't know, toning, the color that we see on this coin, that is a process that all coins will go through, and it's a natural process that happens. It's oxidization of the silver with the air, and sometimes you can get some absolutely incredible toning. It's a very slow process, and it does depend on how you store the coins. And it's really interesting. You see these incredibly gorgeous looking rainbow toned Morgan dollars and things like that that have absolutely giant premiums on them, because every single part of the toning is completely unique. The patterns will be unique, the colors will be unique, and everything about it is wonderful. And of course, what you want is a naturally toned coin over century, of time for it to really shine through and absolutely be amazing. But of course, with anything that increases potential collector premium and value, there comes this potential for unscrupulous individuals to artificially tone coins and actively try and deceive people. And Augur, and I think myself actually, are on board with the fact that I think this looks very suspicious to us. You can see on the U there from Un Cordoba that there's a break in the toning. There's this patch that has almost been dislodged. Now, for those that don't know much about the toning of coins, there is a way that you can artificially tone silver very easily, very quickly, and it's with a substance called liver of sulfur. This is in an airtight bag, so don't worry, we're not getting it anywhere near this coin. Liver of sulfur is the means by which I tone my poured silver. It's very quick to work, it's very easy to do, and you can get some absolutely stunning patterns and colours on coins. But of course, that's artificial. It speeds up the process. Natural toning happens over a long period of time, and there are plenty of different ways that you can tone coins, even with eggs in a bag. You know, just crush up some boiled eggs in a bag and it will tone a coin slowly. The sulfur that's being released is the key element there that does it. So this is worrying because it's signifying that perhaps somebody has artificially toned this coin. It's a rather lovely looking thing, and perhaps they might have got away with it. It's like the Scooby-Doo thing. I would have got away with it if it wasn't for those pesky kids. You know, this little patch here that seems to have come undone is telltale tale of something that's not quite right. And the way that the toning will work is it will create this kind of very thin coloured layer on the coin, which can be polished off very easily, can be gotten rid of very easily. And whilst I don't really want to touch this coin with a polished cloth and try and get it off, there are ways of removing artificial toning without damaging the coin, and I just wonder whether that has happened here, whether or not something like coin conservation would work. I know that Auger is very hot on his collectible coins going in for grading with NGC, and I just wonder whether or not it's possible for this coin to be conserved. You can see that the head side of this coin, Francisco here, he's very much kind of in that silver form, and the detail is wonderful. I mean, we're talking really quite good grades here. Whether or not it would fail the grade because of the coin colour, because of the artificial colouring, has it been tampered with? Would it be classed as details? Potentially. There's also a little bit of rim damage down here and over on the left hand side. So there's a few questions around this coin. There's perhaps something not quite so good going on about it. Even in this condition with the fake toning, it's going to be a valuable coin. It's going to be an in-demand coin, and one would argue that for most people they probably wouldn't notice that. So credit to Auger for his kind of shrewd eye to pick that up and actually talk about it. I think it's a really interesting topic, and one which I know a lot of people will be feeling quite kind of strongly about, because altering original coins like that for profit, that's quite a deceptive thing to do, and it's kind of like the coin sacrilege. You don't clean, you don't alter old collectible coins. They are as they are, and it's, you know, natural aging process, if anything, that coins should go through. But most coin collectors will want to preserve a coin in its current form, which is, I guess, part of what grading does. So there's a whole host of different things there to consider about this particular coin and whether or not the toning there is real, artificial. We'd love to know your opinion. If you've been around a bunch of toned coins, then let me know, let Auger know your thoughts on it. I think there's some definitely issues with that toning. It wouldn't flake off like that. That's the whole point. If it's appeared over time naturally, it's going to be much more homogeneous. Is that the right word? It's going to be more evenly distributed, and you wouldn't perhaps get this little flaking of it there. So why is it flaked as well? You know, that's the question. Has somebody actively scraped it off? And I don't know. But anyway, the point is, really interesting coin, really nice history, really nice to learn about it. Love to know your thoughts on this coin, so please feel free to comment down below with your thoughts and opinions on the coin. Do you have one? Do you plan to get one, having watched this video? I think it's an awesome piece, and a big thank you once again to Auger for sending it through for me to have a look at. And just to confirm again, we're not keeping this coin. It's going back to him. It's a very nice, valuable coin. Otherwise, that is it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, you know what to do. Put a thumbs up on this video and share it around on your social media. Otherwise, if you would like to subscribe to our channel, then make sure you hit that subscribe button with the alarm bell on if you want to get notifications when videos go live. That's it from me. Have a fantastic weekend and a fantastic Easter. It's Easter weekend, so have a great time, and we'll see you on the next video. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.